I made 2 videos about how I prepare a session, how I find my locations a while back. So if you haven't seen them, please do so. Links are in the description box below. So this video can be considered as an update. I might repeat myself here and there, but I will also explain how and why finding these locations is important for me and my work. So does it really add something? Is it worth the hassle? I'm asking this question because when looking at the work of other photographers that are specialized also in circus, dance, and sports photography, I look at their images and I'm like, okay, here the location, the space they're using doesn't really matter. If you look at my work, most of my images, sometimes the background, the surroundings, the things around my model is almost as important as the model itself. And please note, I haven't invented anything. This has been done before. Most of my images when I started were meant to be seen on big prints or on big screens. If you shoot at really wide aperture, if you love blurry background, if you love shooting tight on your dancer, well, the place won't really matter because we won't recognize it. This approach is more Instagram friendly. If you are following me on Instagram, you probably have seen some of the posts where I ask you guys if you prefer the cropped version or the original version where we can see all the architecture and background. And I'm not surprised to see that most of the time the cropped version gets your votes. But you know what? I just don't care. It's my thing. I just love shooting architecture. I just love shooting in wide spaces. I'm inspired by the location I shoot in, and sometimes it's the location that will make my ideas come to life. Sometimes I focus on specific elements. It can be anything, a statue for example, or maybe lines and shapes created by anything around me. A succession of columns or pillars or a tight, long corridor or hallway. I also used to love stairs a lot. I'm trying to do less of these days. Everything I now put in my frame is important. And then the most important part is what it makes me feel. Back in the days, I just wanted to shoot in locations that you may know, that you may have visited in the past, but I wanted you to see it through my eyes. Once you have passed the technical aspect of the making of your photo, you have to think about how all of this can help you carry your message or tell your story. Does it enhance what you want people to feel when looking at your image? Does it enhance the figure, the body, the pose, the movement of your dancer, circus performer, or athlete? Or you can work the other way. Once you have listed all the things that you need to tell your story, message, or whatever, you can now find the location that will tick all the boxes. Here are another few examples where the location plays an important part, almost as important as the model. A common pattern in my work is symmetry, but I guess you guys already know that. Using any building as a backdrop, something I tend to do a lot. Let the light guide you. See where the light falls, how it behaves in the location you're shooting in. Sometimes it can make really, really interesting pictures. Imitation is also something I use a lot. It can help your model find the perfect pose for your shot. Using lines in wide spaces and light to guide the viewer's eyes. Wherever I travel, I take notes. I take pictures of places and locations with my phone. Like any tourist, and I'm sure you do the same, Before visiting a city, I Google it and make a list of all the famous landmarks and places, and depending on the time that I have, I visit them. I made a database of the place I've worked in and the ones I wish to work in, and I suggest you do the same. I am not always looking for something specific. I'm just looking for interesting, original, inspiring places depending on colors, textures, how the light behaves inside the space, anything really. When it's outdoors, I'm trying to figure out when is the best time of the day to shoot there, when we have the best light and when there is no people around. But the main difficulty is to know before your session if there will be any activities there, special events, if it's under construction, maybe a festival, anything. Once you have your list, you will have a database that will help you find the perfect location for the project you're currently working on. If for a specific project you don't have that many options, then extend your search. Now that you know what and how and why, you have to confirm the where. You are going to write tons of emails and call tons of people. Yeah. Try to reach out to the tourist office or the appropriate departments at the city hall. They will guide you. They will tell you if you need a permit to shoot where you want. It's as simple as that. If it's a private property, well, it's the same process. You have to reach out to the right person. You can find, most of the time, all this info on the internet. We're in 2020, guys. I never shoot without a permit or insurance. That's one of the major changes that happened between this video and the last one on the subject. Being kicked out of a place is never worth it, and most of the examples that I've showed you in this video so far are not accessible without any authorizations. And now it all comes down to your project. What will you shoot there? Who will you shoot there? What will be the use of these images? What is the size of the production? And what can these images do for the place that is welcoming you? Because yes, it ain't free. Nothing is. Because yes, these places can ask you to pay to actually rent the place. It can start at 50 euros an hour up to 2K an hour and more. It will all depend on the quality of your work and the project. The only way for you to get the place for free is to have a killer portfolio, just show your best work, and of course it will depend on the size of the production. And even with that, they will ask you for something in return. If you're a YouTube star or an Instagram star, it helps, but most of the time what they will ask you in return is if they will be able to use your images online. Personally, I would only allow a simple share on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and with, of course, in the description for each post, the name of all the people involved. If they want to use the images somewhere else, well, they will have to pay, and never send them the raws. Only send them a selection of the images you created there. Of course, you keep the rights of your images. Write this in a contract and have everybody involved sign this contract before the session. Don't be discouraged. You will be rejected most of the time, or you will get a no for an answer if you get any. So that's why you make a long list of locations to increase your chances of getting a yes. And sometimes, yes, it happens, you will meet someone that will fall in love with your work and that will let you in without asking anything in return. Yeah. But that's only one part of the truth, unfortunately. Of course, this can only be the way to work in such places. The other way is easier to explain because I have nothing to do. You guys probably already know it. I'm a full-time photographer. This is my main job. So now for some of my client work, I do not have to find a location. My client will find a location for me. Or no, they will find the right location for the project they hired me for. if the location is really inspiring and if I don't have the authorization to make a behind the scenes video or even share the images that I created there, sometimes it happens. I ask my client if I can use the place for me for a personal project, just a couple hours, and sometimes they say yes. Of course, you can always pay and rent the place, but it ain't cheap. I said it earlier. Personally, I wouldn't do it unless it really can bring something to my portfolio or, boost my career somehow. I am better now waiting for a potential client to pay for the location or maybe someone that might fall in love with my work. Don't underestimate networking. And I'm not talking about stalking people and forcing people to like your Instagram, your page, or anything like that. It still happens in the real world. You have to get out there and show your work to people. Be around those people that might hire you for bigger projects. I know this will be hard to apply in the days, weeks to come because of this stupid virus. 2 weeks now, not working. Here in France, the situation hasn't changed much these days. Looking at the situation worldwide, I can easily guess that we will stay inside for 1 more month at least. To all of you that give their time, that work their asses off in hospitals to save lives, to make sure that this virus doesn't spread, that this situation doesn't get worse, thank you. If you're isolated, if you're all alone, hang on, we will get through this together somehow. If you have the opportunity to help someone in need without putting yourself and the life of others at risk, please do so. To all my fellow creators and independent artists, we're all in this together. What makes it hard for us is it's impossible for us to find solutions to compensate the loss of income because we don't know when this is going to end. If you guys have any tips, any solutions, anything that can help, please share your ideas in the comments below. Thank you all for watching. I really hope that this will end soon. I will see you in the next one, but until then, please take care.